So this is somewhat of a controversial topic on the YouTubes. I posted a deep dip video a few weeks ago and the comments were split. Like half of it was, oh, that's cool. The other half was, yeah, you shouldn't be doing that because you're going to mess your shoulders up. I wouldn't mind if people didn't want to do it just because they thought that they can't handle it. That's one thing. That's fine. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. But to regurgitate this fucking scaremongering of, oh, you're gonna mess your shoulders up for life, you shouldn't be doing that, don't do that, you should only go to parallel. Now I have a problem with it. That's just gatekeeping. Like, okay, I can't do it, so I don't want to see anybody else do it either. These people probably still believe in the tooth fairy and that if you watch the TV too close, your eyes will go square. Like, dude, have you ever tested any of these theories out, or are you just fucking repeating what your parents said? Subsequently, these are the guys that you don't want to listen to because you've got a whole older generation walking around with frozen shoulder, because if they hurt their shoulder at the time, they believe that you should avoid that pain. But what happens if you ignore it? If you don't use it, you lose it, and that's why your grandma can't lift her arm over her head. So the same kind of thing happens with range of motion. If you don't use it, you lose it, and that is why bodybuilder type people walk around with these bent arms, because they only ever train bent arm strength. I'm not saying you should go as deep as you can possibly go every single time. There's different types of training, isn't there? Sometimes you want to go heavy, sometimes you just want to get a pump on. But what's going to serve you more in your later years? Going heavier and heavier, or exploring that depth? If you can already lift heavy, then you've got that mastered. You can keep adding weight, sure, but do you crumble to pieces when you go anywhere below parallel? Why not explore that uncharted territory below the bar like a diver? If you've never dived, dip, dive, dodge, then you've restricted yourself from 70% of the planet. You're never gonna know what it's like they say in Indonesia. Never try, never know, bro. The reason I got into kettlebells and calisthenics is because of the monotony of just adding weight became tiresome. Every day you put your white belt on and start chipping away at a new progression. It keeps things fresh and interesting. And that's what calisthenics is about, isn't it? If something becomes too easy, you make it harder. You change the leverage or take an arm away. Getting creative with it and making every exercise as hard as humanly possible. That's my issue with these street workout competitions. I'm not trying to shit all over it. It is good to have a goal and find out who's the strongest, but now you've got a whole bunch of dudes and dudettes going, right, what's the least amount of effort that I can exert to quantify a rep? Doesn't that sound familiar? I remember when CrossFit came out, it was a grand idea, although it wasn't really an idea. He just robbed it from the military. In my eyes, that's already how we were training. We just called it strength circuits. But the point is, it's a solid way of training to be fit all round. Weightlifting, cardio, skipping, body weight, climbing, rope climbing, the lot. That was all well and good until the CrossFit Games came about. Now everyone started butchering the reps just to get a higher number so that you could say you beat the person left or right of you. It's a bit like in MMA when fighters play to the rules, so you're not supposed to hit a downed opponent. So if you're in a disadvantageous position, then you can just put your hand on the floor and then you're like, okay, technically you're not allowed to fucking beat me up now. It's just a bit of an ugly look. We all know that in that moment, if it was a real fight, that dude would have got his fucking arse kicked, but he can still be declared the winner. In the same manner, you've got someone who could win this street workout competition, and now apparently he's the strongest in his country or region, but he did it using these reps that have only been invented since the street workout competitions. They didn't exist before. They've been sculpted apparently to protect the shoulders. If you're the fucking strongest dude in your country, why are you so concerned about hurting your shoulders? Doesn't that mean that the weight's too heavy for you? Anyway, I've rambled on enough there about this topic. I'm interested to see whether you think I'm way off the mark or not. I know there has to be a standard to hit so that we can compare and compete, but I'm just not in that race. I'm not competing. I don't want to be the strongest at going halfway. I get it, I do get it, but those fucking reps look ridiculous. Come on. I would rather put more effort into each and every rep, so you're left with reps that actually mean something. If you're going down the path of least resistance just to get a higher number, it's kind of an ego workout more than anything else. I've honestly forgotten what parallel feels like. I have to check myself off in the mirror or the video or ask someone next to me, is that parallel? It just feels so shallow now, like you're cheating yourself. Why? Just to get a higher number of reps. I'm more bothered about what those reps look and feel like as opposed to the fucking number. It feels like cheating just to do the bare minimum. I'm not competing against anyone else. I'm competing against myself, so I want to get the most out of every rep. I said I was done gobbing off, and then I must have rambled on for another couple of minutes, but I'm going to upload the deep dip warm-up, which will be the very first video that is available for members only. So if you're interested, then get involved and keep an eye out for that. I may put another little video up explaining the bits and bobs to go with it, because it's in its infancy. I'm new to all that, but for now, that'll do. Cheers.